means? Well, one, you get this feeling of operation, but most of us, well, it's truly an identification. Most of us get our flag. But the only way you can identify what's right from wrong is the truth. You know what I mean? Understanding what we're about. If you can walk away from here knowing what we are about, truly knowing what we're about and look at it from an honest perspective, then when you go back to your community, you will not let words or mumbo jumbo confuse you. Because that saying, the proof is in the pudding, is true. But most importantly, which I keep reiterating, is that we must develop some type of dialogue, some type of relay system that when something do come up in your community that is unlike our teaching that has given us a bad name, that you can contact us and we can come and clean it up. I'm a Roto-Rooter man. I'm a janitor. I'm an architect. Call me and I will gut the pipe out. I will get rid of the bad. Because if the bad is causing you stress and you're working with children, and just because you may be a Christian or whatever, that don't make you wrong. What makes me wrong, or anybody wrong, if they know the truth and know better and don't do nothing about it. So I cannot live and say that I represent this, and you call for my assistance, I refuse to give it to you because of who you are. So I think the only way we can do that is create some type of dialogue and network within these small communities. And you?
I would certainly like to dialogue with you. However, as I stated earlier, we do have some good 5%ers in our jurisdiction who are doing it by the numbers, who are doing the right thing. And we depend on them, to be very honest with you, to kind of put the other ones in check, to assist us in putting the other ones in check. Now, I submit to you also that we have a large number out there who are not doing it by the numbers. The ones I shared with you that are good ones are a small number, but we know who they are, and we work with them, and have been for years.
Let's rewind. You said that there are true 5%ers, that's what you said, and you said there are, what, jive percenters. I am the national representative of the nation of 5%ers. I do not represent the jive percenters. I don't do that, that slang, whoever they are, because I am responsible for all, I'm trying to save all of the children. That's why I made that point. How many people work in your office, your department?
How many in my department or my office?
No, your whole department.
My department about 8.
No, in the state of New Jersey, Department of Correction, Department of Criminal Justice, right? That's criminal justice?
Right.
In the state of New Jersey, how many people? County?
What county? Right.
Well, but, all right, how many in the county? 8? Or more than 8?
One county, prosecutor.
So, I'm going to assume, give you the benefit of the doubt, that everybody in the county of the prosecutor's office are 8 straight-laced, no chase, no crookedness. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt on that. Now, if they happen to be, through an investigation, I found one that's crooked, that don't mean I'm gonna stop talking to you. Only thing I can say, listen, one of your people is kind of crooked. It's up to you to investigate it. Then you say, wait a minute, Dumar. He's not with us no more. He's just using our card and our tag. But because if he was with you, then you would have prosecuted him. That's the same thing with us. If we identify people misusing our name and property, they will be prosecuted.
But I agree with you, Dumar. No disrespect. I truly do agree with what you just stated. What I'm sharing with you is that we do, like I stated, we have some good ones out there. The term jive percenters came out of a meeting that we had with some of the 5%ers who I call we're doing it by the numbers, doing the right thing. And these renegades were doing it all wrong, if you will, or going to the extreme right. We had to be able to separate for purposes of law enforcement, so the law enforcement don't have that title of saying 5%ers, everybody's underneath that umbrella. We had to be able to separate. For the past 4 to 5 years, I spent a great deal of my time separating 5% from jive percenters and educating law enforcement, educators, and everyone else that there are some good ones out there who are, if you will, 5%, and then the jive percenters. I hear your message real clear. I'm concerned about the numbers that we have in our jurisdiction, even though we're getting the help, who are running around calling themselves 5%. We call them jive percenters, they call themselves 5%.
Let me ask you a question. In your county, because you get all of them together.
These people, unfortunately, well, we got some of that are together, not where they should be.
Well, listen. well, even in the penal institution or those who are in the community, if you, this is what I would do. If you can get them together, you know what I mean? I'll be, through time, I'll be more than happy to come down, you know what I mean, face to face. Because everybody know me, you know what I mean? I think they know me. They don't like me. You know what I mean? Because I tell the truth. I'm talking about some of my brothers. That's those, that's so-called free. Now, those you got control of in your penal institutions, where I don't have to take anything on face value, if through your authority and your networking, you could allow me to come in these institutions where you have a little control of and sit down and explain to these young brothers what we're about, where they can correct themselves through the reformation of your program, and I understand it, then this is a start. Now, if they refuse to benefit from that, then you got to do what you got to do with them, because I cannot be responsible for people who refuse to grow. I'm about growth and development. Now, there's no more I can do. Now, my original thought was to get me a bulldozer and run over all these wrongdoers. But then I'll be looking at you. You know what I mean? And I don't need that like that. That's my original thought. But I got to do it the right way, is try to tell the truth and work with those. If you have them, let me have a piece of them in terms of discussion. If that could be arranged. If we're true about dialogue, if we're true to bring about a change. And at the same time, we must understand that a lot of individuals go into the prison system one way, and in that process, they may gain a little knowledge in jail and then start saying these things, and all of a sudden, we're getting the blame for their misbehavior. But we never get the credit for a person who dropped out of school, and through these teachings, he go back to school. Or for a person who was robbing, stealing, and raping, and he realized it's not the right way to do, and he started doing the proper thing. We don't get the credit for that. But I'm not crying nor I'm whining, because all this is part of the responsibility of being a civilized person and networking. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work. So what I'm doing, in actuality, is opening up my arms. You know what I mean? Let me in. Ooh, let me in. Imagine, let me in. You don't have to be afraid of it. Let me in. And I'll tell you before, I'm here to stop crime, and I'll bet you a skinny monkey to a jackrabbit. Those who are wrong and say they're a 5%, they will dissipate before your eyes. That's saying, beam up, Scotty, they will be beamed out of existence. They still exist, but they will never use the term 5% again if we have the right to talk to them, because we will give them an offer they cannot refuse. Yes, Doctor.
Let me just make this comment. Dialogue is important and necessary, and thanks to Mr. Jordan and Mr. Hammond, they have done more to educate the people within Monmouth County as to the legitimate setters and those who are not. Unfortunately, those who are not what you described are the ones who represent the 5%ers to the schools, to the churches, to many organizations, and they have done a lot to feed the misconception as to what the 5%ers are about. But Mr. Jordan had especially a one-man army has done much to educate the Human Relations Commission, many of the school systems, and so forth. Now, what you espouse and what you share with us is what many of our organizations and community people are attempting to provide a support base for our youth, because they are at risk. It's about time. I would love to see the two of you join forces, because you're not adversaries, but you have spoken from the same, frame of reference. But be not mistaken, I think it's a need for the true 5%ers to make their presence known, because you're being misrepresented by those who wear the banner and do all the things you say you do not.
Let me make it very clear. I understand very well that there is a need, and we do have a bunch of people running around wild. That is a known fact. This is why I'm here. I travel all over the country because of that. But at the same time, all I'm saying is, Do y'all feel different today? Do y'all have a different perception about the 5%? Or y'all gonna walk out with the same perception, he just running his mouth? This is what I need to know. This is where the problem comes. Do y'all feel different yourself?
I think in listening to the eloquence of what you've stated and understand where we're coming from, is that we're in this boat together. And we advocate the same things that you're speaking, and certainly the knowledge of interacting with young people for well over 30 years, and much longer than yourself, in that we certainly do the kinds of things that you're addressing, in that we make people aware, those who have no knowledge of the 5%ers, that like any other group, we should never point a finger and stereotype the entire group to say they are this particular way, when in fact you've had no interaction. And there are people who are afraid to come forward and speak or interact with 5%ers. And what we try to do is say, hey, you need to understand exactly what you've stated, that there are 5%ers who are outstanding in their schools, who are outstanding in their communities, along with those who have also ended up in the prosecution of doing wrong, and also in the institutions. However, you said something that is extremely important, that rather than be apart from, we need to be a part of, working together, certainly establishing the kind of dialogue that you've addressed. But until such time that people will come out and hear what you're saying, and I would love to take you with us to address faculties and other students to hear from you what the perception is in reference to the 5%ers compared to what they've heard on the 5, 6, 10, 11 o'clock news. And certainly when there's an incident in the institution and they are labeled being responsible for those things, it doesn't enhance the position of those 5%ers who are doing everything that we request of good citizens. So I commend you.
And that's not to say that some 5%ers don't make mistakes. It's like any one of us in here. That's why they have erasers on pencils, because we all make mistakes. The objective is that we learn from those mistakes that we make, regardless of who we are.
The one thing that, see, this is the real thing. We're going to clear it right now. And I like what you said. It's not to say that some 5% don't make mistakes, right? But because people think that, I know that the things that we say, we may appear to be people that can fly and go through the wall. But we are human beings like everybody else. We got mothers, fathers, children, the same concerns that you got, we have. Now, unfortunately for me, I was never able to participate in World War II, right? But what I learned by studying and listening to people who participated in that the Americans, the French, the British, the Australians, they were allies. But at the same time, they really didn't like each other. But they had one common what? Enemy. And they came together to defeat that enemy. And once they defeated that enemy, they went about their business. But they came together for one common cause. And we got one common enemy. And that is making our children blind, deaf, and dumb, anti-social dealing, juvenile delinquent behavior, not going to school, babies making babies. All these things affect us, one way or another, directly or indirectly. So we are coming out to let the world know that the 5%ers do have the power. And I made a bold statement. I said that I'm on tape saying that I'm here to stop crime. I said that I'm here to change the world. Not necessarily the world you live in, but the world of imperfection that these young brothers and sisters are involved in that's not right and exact. There's no such thing as a perfect world, but they can be perfect in their steps and their goals, that they can strive for to achieve something that's worthwhile, that'll make you happy. Because these very same youth that we're talking about, they are your children. You can father them, but they're your children. They're your responsibility. And you don't have that job for the money, I don't think. I think you're a people person. You like doing good and ridding the wrongs. I'm a people person. I like doing good and ridding the wrong, whether they are Christian or 5%, because I refuse to bury my head in the water. Not the sand, but the water. And many of y'all who are in professions are part of an Eastern Star or Masonic Lounge, and I can use that. I said, well, if you stop studying the secret and reveal the truth, they wouldn't be that way. But I will not go that way, because that is not the issue that's at hand. What's at hand is, could we dialogue? Could we network together? Are we willing to open up and build something that the world has never seen before, or the community has never seen before, to make a difference with our children and with our lives? If we can do that, then all this is worth my time. If we can't do that, I must continue to go on and teach as hard as I can and as much as I can, with the understanding that there are people who are using our name. We know they are using our name. And we're not advocating that. We're trying to stop them, but the only way we can stop them is the truth. If the truth don't stop them, nothing's going to stop them. So I'm willing to dialogue, though. And Cheryl, she'll get in touch with me if y'all want to dialogue with me. Right, Cheryl? A go-between.
Who is your representative from this area? I'm sorry.
What's the question?
No, basically I had a comment. I was raised in a Christian home. My mom was a minister, and I was always taught that like the 5% was a gang, and I grew up thinking that the nation of gods and earth disrespected women and so on and so forth. And it wasn't until I came of age that I could travel by myself, where I was able to go to a parliament, spend some time around God bodies, and get a better understanding of what it is you actually teach. And then I was able to go back and pose the question to my mother that I don't understand how it is that you can have cults take the Bible and passages in the Bible and go to mountains and starve themselves, kill each other. You can have a woman kill her seed and say, God told me to do it from heaven, and then you don't have these same people formulating an opinion about the whole Christianity or Pentecostal faith or whatever, but as soon as you have a God body or a queen do something that's outside of what society seems to be normal or holds to be normal, then they talk about the whole group or the whole nation. You know what I'm saying? How it's so easy for them that as soon as one person does something wrong and they might have a flag on or something like that, it's easy for them to automatically say, oh, that's a gang, or they're up to no good. And I don't understand, like, maybe you can let me see what it is in your mind that makes it so easy for you to do that. Yeah, like the, community in general.
Well, you need to understand, at least from our perspective, we know the prosecutor's office, and hopefully, I'm not speaking for all law enforcement, but hopefully for a large number in terms of our process. When we interview a young man or a young lady who gets arrested, whatever the case may be, it is not from our mouths that we call them 5%ers or that we look for a certain flag or anything of that nature, because normally they do not have that universal symbol on them. It is something that they say out of their own mouths. They say, I'm a 5%er, I'm God, I did this, I did that. And to us, it means absolutely nothing until we start getting them in groups while they're arrested or when we lock them up, because one kid gets assaulted and he says, I was attacked by the 5%ers. I said, well, who's the individual who attacked you? We find that one individual, we talk to him, he says, well, I was with so-and-so and so-and-so, and we're all 5%ers. That comes from their mouths, not ours. And from the religious side of the house, we separate. Like I said to you, that we understand the 5%ers are not religious, so we don't equate them to Christians or anything else. Not to say that they're not bad Christians, not bad anything else. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If I was traveling in a group right here, and we were all ministers, and we decided we were going to go out and kill someone, does that make us a gang because we were all under the Christian faith? You know
In
what
my
I'm saying?
opinion,
Yes.
yes, ma'am. My definitions don't change. It can be
You said in your definition that they claim a territory. What territory do they claim? As far as I've heard that the gods and earth, the earth is theirs, the entire earth. They roam the earth freely. So what one territory do they claim? Is it a sidewalk or a street corner? What is it that they claim? Because I've done some studying and I've been around a few of them, and basically I haven't seen them claim any one territory.
Well, let me ask you something. First of all, I'm kind of confused right now. Are you referring to my definition, or are you referring to the 5%ers in terms of a gang? Because I never said the 5%ers were a gang.
You gave that in your definition.
Right.
You said to me that I asked you if we were all traveling together, we were ministers, and we decided to jump someone, would it be a gang? You said yes, but what territory are we claiming? your definition, you said that
Right.
they claim territory. What territory?
The territory that one could claim under the definition of what a gang is, could be anything from a street corner, motor vehicle, apartment complex, Dairy Queen, McDonald's, is an area that they claim is theirs and is normally marked with the street newspaper or a heavy presence of that member. For example, if a bunch of us hang out on a street corner every day, on one singular corner, every day, we can always be found on that corner, and we go out and attack someone, beat them up, and we always come back to that corner, that's your turf. Whether you verbally say it or not, that's your area. You're always there. But don't forget, keep the definition. All four elements must be present.
Let me say this. That's very good. I don't want to lose the focus because I'm a big-headed person. I don't want to lose the focus on why we are here in terms of what we can do at the closing in terms of networking and open up dialogue and making sure everything is understood and making sure that this thing is reported right individually, collectively, or through the media. But at the same time, it's a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day. And to make sure that we're on the same page, just
One of the things that you have to understand, and certainly the young lady, I'm from Malcolm County Prosecutor's Office, and I'm Jerry Campbell. And I want you to understand exactly what she's saying is what we have to fight against. The stereotypes that are associated. You have to speak with the warden to find out that I couldn't tell you because that's not a part of my association. I'm the director of special projects. They take in a lot of other kinds of things, including public relations, teaching, a large part of that, and doing what we're doing here today.
Okay, Randy has a question over here.
So are you telling me in the state of New Jersey that the 5% are not labeled as a gang?
No, what I'm sharing with you is that we have separated, I can't represent all of New Jersey. I can only represent my jurisdiction and certain parts where we go out and educate law enforcement. And we try to inform law enforcement, know in certain terms, that there are 5%ers and there are jive percenters, and the jive percenters are a gang. So in answer to your question, from me, 5%ers are not listed as a gang, no.
Okay. Over here. You.
Who, me?
You didn't have your?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just wanted to make a statement to the sister over here, commenting on what you were saying about your mother, you know, and pardon me, like through every group or no matter who you're with, everybody's going to have their own type of stereotypes of what they think that a certain group does. And me, myself, I am a Pentecostal. I do believe in God, yes, the God that I believe lives in the sky and everything that I do believe in. But I also take the time to educate and open up my mind to what other people think. Now, sitting here today, I mean, I have a lot of people in my family who are 5%ers, and I choose to open up my mind and understand where other people come from. I mean, I respect people for what they believe, and I expect people to respect me for what I believe. There are a lot of Christians that do take that route to say, well, if they're not Christian, then their type of way is wrong. I believe that as long as you believe within yourself that what you're doing is correct, then it's all right and it's all good.
I'd like to make a statement that you said that any one person's group of persons that form and claim a territory is classifications as being a gang. Now, the 5%ers have civilization classes, and in Monmouth County, I can speak for the fact that I've participated in a number of ciphers that we've had, and I have seen where the police have shown up on a regular basis because we hold our ciphers in one particular place because this is what we have. You know, we don't have a church to go to, or we don't have a community center to go into to have our ciphers. And for this purpose, I guess that would be another classification as to why, you know, you could see a number of people calling us again because they see us form in large groups to communicate with one another, to encourage our youth to do what's correct, you know, to ensure that they're not going in the wrong direction, you know, to enforce our understandings of life. And for this purpose, I guess that enhances what, you know, the police see as being wrong in calling us gangs. You know, I don't know if you have been told about, you know, meetings that have been joined together on, you know, particular days of the week or whatever, where there are a number of 5%ers that come together.
Yes, you do have the right to assemble, and we agree with you on a personal level and on a public level, you have that right. And like I stated, when you look at the definition I gave earlier, look at the entire definition, because if you leave out any part of that definition, there's no gang there. So you don't meet that last element, being involved in criminal activity and juvenile delinquency. If you do, then yeah, we're going to classify you as a gang. And I'm not saying that you meet that criteria. If you did, obviously you would be. Now, there are a lot of law enforcement out there who do classify the 5%ers as a gang. We've been spending a great deal of time trying to remove that stigma. And we can't do it alone. And that's why, as my partner Jerry stated, it's good to have the gentleman come and speak and to raise this conscious awareness and to say that we're going to work together on this. Because we can't do it alone.
Yeah, just to add on to that, like we said, some of the things that we don't do, we don't dismiss the whole doctrine of Christianity based on some of the things that others have done, like swagger or farmer. But one of the things that we can do, because it's become so unattractive to be a part of the nation of the 5%, I myself personally have started a group organization, because the 5% only defines, like we said again, that 5% of the population in the entire world believe in the oneness of God. Nat Turner was a 5%. Soldier of the Truth was a 5%. So we can go on and on. It's not defined with what you say out of your mouth, but if your ways and actions don't coincide with what you say, then you can dismiss that person as a liar. My obligation and duty is to teach civilization to the uncivilized on the planet Earth. So any means that I have to do that, I will do it. I have started a group of 12 young men that are in alternative school where they feel disenfranchised from the process of what's going on in school. And it's entitled Keep It Real. We have a few things that's scheduled for them. We have a party, a fashion show, and things like that that's scheduled for them to teach them under the same principles what I was indoctrinated with, but I don't have to go under the banner of saying, I am who I am. But I could teach them the same principles and the same doctrine of what I would. It's very, and to keep it real, I have a lot of my own brothers who feel that I've taken on a different perspective because of who I am. But they won't challenge me because I live out what I say. I live it out. So like I said, it's unattractive from certain people because not that you live out a different perspective. Like Dumar said himself, a lot of brothers don't like Dumar because of the way he chooses to live his out. But it's a way that we can reach these children without saying, it's because the language that's being used now, if you understand that you have young brothers and sisters that are coming up that have no knowledge of the nation of the 5%, and what they be like, peace, the order of the day is peace, God, what's up, God, they're using a language that they have no knowledge of, so it's way out of whack. But our duty is to teach civilization to all the human family on the entire planet Earth.
How you doing, brother? Peace. And I work at the Asbury Park Middle School, and I'm the Parent Advisory Council chairperson. And I'm open as far as having anyone, and I'm talking about writing out an action plan so that we can get to these youth and have something on a consistent and constant basis. But I still feel kind of uncomfortable because I believe that, like the prosecutor office, this is not no attack on them. But see, we have to realize that they really are an extension of the 10%. And to a large degree, until they actually come get you or work with you and really come up with systemic approaches that are going to reach our youth, and I'm talking about on the educational level, I'm talking about in the community level and so forth, that we have resources and use a lot of that money that I see every day and trickle it down, that there's nothing going to actually happen. So I'm looking forward to you and the brother dialogue and get back and let us know in Asbury Park as far as how you would like to use myself as far as being with the parent body and being a representative of the parent body, and we can do something immediately. And if a sister lives in Asbury Park, then she can have her civilizations in the school building, and I'm willing to set that up. So I'm working for the 85%. So I can do that.
Right, okay.
I do hesitate to talk because I know I'm part of the some ugly percentage up there. I don't know. I've gotten older and uglier. I mean, I can't help it. Can I ask where those percentages came from?
It's based on a mathematical breakdown that we observe. You have rich, you have the rich in America, right? you have the middle class, and you have the poor. Now, in those three frameworks, the largest percentage of that is what? The poor, right? Are there more middle class than poor? No, there are more poor than middle class. And then you have the middle class, and then you have the rich.